Good evening. This is the Guyana Learning Channel's news in capsule for Monday, August 30, 2021. In the headlines, MOE publishes school reopening plan, virtual activities for Amerindian Heritage Month, and NGSA results to be ready by end of October. In the world of sports, 17 complete FIFA refereeing course. Regionally, Barbados prepares for possible outbreak of African swine fever. And internationally, EU to recommend reinstating travel restrictions. And now for the details. With schools scheduled to physically reopen from September 6 using a variety of individualized plans, the Ministry of Education over the weekend posted on its website the reopening plans being utilized by each school in each of the 11 education districts. For each school, the reopening plans cover attendance for specific grades from Monday to Friday. The list includes the nursery, primary, and secondary schools, as well as practical instruction centers. Some schools will be open to all classes at all levels throughout the week, while some schools will alternate between grades on differing days. In many cases, particular grade levels will not have school every day. 41 of the 348 nursery schools across the country will be reopening fully to regular classes, while 44 of the 457 primary schools will be reopening fully to all classes every day. And for secondary schools, 7 of 133 schools will be opened fully as per normal. At a press conference held last Friday, where the MOE laid out its reopening program, Chief Education Officer CEO Dr. Marcel Hudson had called on parents to ensure they check with their children's respective schools to understand the attendance plans and to know when their child is expected to be at school so as to avoid confusion at the schools and for the COVID-19 protocols to be observed. In most cases, the primary and secondary schools have placed emphasis on their higher level classes, which have to prepare to write the national examination, having them attend school on as many days as possible. At the nursery schools, Assistant CEO Samantha Williams at Friday's press conference had explained that each level will be engaged for a minimum of 4 hours per week, and class sizes will not exceed 5 children per teacher. The children will also each be given a learning package that will include stationery and learning materials, such as flashcards. The school reopening plan are based on the school's location, capacity, enrollment, and teachers on staff. All schools will be required to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols. This piece was extracted from the Guyana Chronicle. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs will be hosting a number of activities and engagements virtually this year in observance of Amerindian Heritage Month. This is according to Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sakai. The month of activities will begin with a virtual concert on September 1, which will feature artists from the coastal areas. It will be broadcast live on HJTV E-Networks, NCN TV, MTV 65, NTN 69, and the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs Facebook page. Another activity will be hosted on September 10 and will showcase art and craft in honor of the first Indigenous parliamentarian, Stephen Campbell. There will also be a series of sampling of Amerindian cuisine at the Ministry's Thomas Street, Georgetown location, as well as a day of games, cultural display, talent, marathons, and cricket. However, these events will be spectator-free and non-contact. The theme for this year's observance is maintaining our traditional integrity, celebrating our cultural identity. Minister Sakai said there will also be a mini heritage celebration in several hinterland villages, which will be mainly non-contact and alcohol-free. This piece was extracted and modified from the Department of Public Information. Chief Education Officer CEO Dr. Marcel Hudson says the 2021 National Grade 6 Assessment results will be available by the end of October. He made the announcement on Friday during a press conference at the National Center for Educational Resource Development. Dr. Hudson said a decision was taken to give grade 6 teachers extra holiday to compensate them for their dedication during the last year. Additionally, the CEO announced that the grades 2, 4, and 9 assessments for the 2021-2022 academic year will not be conducted, adding that the ministry has taken a stance that there is no point going in that direction since students have not been exposed to learning in the way the ministry would have preferred. However, the 2022 NGSA has been scheduled for July 6 and 7. Schools are set to be reopened on September 6 for face-to-face learning. A total of 92 schools will be fully opened, while 846 will operate on a rotational basis. This piece was extracted from the Department of Public Information. And in the world of sports, the Guyana Football Federation wrapped up its annual FIFA Member Association refereeing course on Friday, with 17 match officials receiving certificates of attendance for the country's first in-person FIFA football development program since 2019. The course, which updates referees on the latest changes to the laws of the game and provide elite guidance for officiating matches, was led by FIFA Referee Development Officer Javier Santos, FIFA referee instructor Peter Prendergast, and FIFA fitness instructor Alan Brown, as well as the GFF referee instructors Ingram Johnson and Sherwin Moore. According to a press release, the GFF president Wayne Ford congratulated the group for completing the top-level training course, as the federation accelerates its plan for the safe and structured return of play in the coming months, once permission is granted by the authorities. The FIFA course is the second refereeing program that the GFF has organized for its match officials this month, following from a 3-day seminar led by Guyanese-born Diane Ferreira James, a CONCACAF elite assessor and head of refereeing for the Bahamas Football Association. This piece was extracted from the newsroom. And now for news in the region. The senior veterinary officer in Barbados for the Ministry of Agriculture, Mark Trotman, says that although there are no reports of the highly infectious African swine fever in the country, agricultural officials are on high alert and have a preparedness plan hinged on 4 pillars to prevent, address, and respond to the disease if the need arises. Speaking during a press briefing on Friday, Trotman pointed out that disease only affects pigs, and therefore Barbadians are being encouraged to still eat their local pork. He informed the nation that while the disease posed no immediate risk to public health, it could significantly affect the pork industry and the economic health of the country. Trotman shared that the Veterinary Services Unit had been monitoring the spread of the virus for the past 2 years. The senior veterinary officer gave an insight into the ministry's response to the African swine fever, which involved working with the water agencies, the traveling public, and the farming community, enhanced biosecurity measures, business continuity, protection of the pork industry, and sustained messaging to counter misinformation. This piece was extracted from the Caribbean Loop News. And now for international news. The European Union is expected to recommend on Monday that member states reinstate COVID-related travel restrictions and halt non-essential travel from the United States and 5 other countries, a diplomatic source told CNN. The EU would re-establish coronavirus travel restrictions such as quarantine and testing requirements for unvaccinated travelers from those countries, according to the source. The decision to renew EU travel restrictions would become final on Monday should no EU country object, the source told CNN, confirming other media reports. The European Council, the EU's governing body, recommended that the bloc lift restrictions on non-essential travel from 14 countries, including the US, in June. However, the COVID-19 cases in the United States have surged in recent weeks as the highly infectious Delta variant spreads among unvaccinated Americans. COVID-19 cases among children are also hitting levels not seen since winter. Nationally, 52.1% of the population was fully vaccinated as of Saturday, according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. This piece was extracted from CNN. With that, we've reached the end of today's broadcast. Be sure to join us again right here tomorrow at 8 p.m. on the Guyana Learning Channel for more educational news and updates. On behalf of the technical team, thanks for watching and remember to stay safe, Guyana.